Hello together. Thanks for inviting. My name is Dirk Bansemer. I'm from the Europlant, a cooperative what's founded to save plastic waste. And we are also using RFID tags. And I will bring you a bit closer to our concept and happy to share it with you. So that was the starting point. A few years ago, it usually looks behind the stores like this. And this was the reason why we decided to change things. And we have currently a usage of roughly 700 million one-way plastic trays in Europe. And that was the starting point where we want to change. The idea, what we worked out in the time, was establishing a reusable system so that we can save CO2 and plastic waste on the one hand and have a high return rate, what is usually in reusable systems close to 100%, in comparison to disposable systems where only roughly the half of the trays will be collected and then perhaps come to a reusable, to a recycling process, or in most cases there will be burned or fired. In our case, we collect all the trays, and how it's often done in the reusable systems, we collect them and make out of the defect ones, new ones, so that we have cradle-to-cradle processes and in a long-lasting organization. The special topic of our approach, which we focused on, is that we are an industry-owned cooperative, and so that we do it for the industry, with the industry, and the industry of the green sector can be part of our organization. So, in the meantime, I come to the history a bit later. We had additional political framework, what is sometimes mentioned here, from the European Parliament. That is only one aspect of the PPWR, that it's in the future not more allowed to use one-way plastic trays, and that we need to use in the most supply chains reusable systems, or currently card boxes are also allowed. In a country or in a company, it is in the future only allowed to use these 100% reusable systems. And between countries, you can use, or it's enough if you use only 30% of reusable systems. But in our branch, we have the situation that we have producers, wholesalers, and retailers, and they work all across over Europe together. So that is a pan-European industry. And in the nearly all supply chains, we have always one or two of these 100% cases. And so repacking is not sensible and also economically not ideal. So at the end, we have 100% quota for reusable systems, what is perhaps a bit hard for a branch in general, but it is like it is. And 2 weeks ago, we had a general assembly where one of the European, or the writer of the PPWR was joining, and he explained, it is like it is, and so we have to find solutions for all our transport topics with the plants. We founded this organization. Currently, we have 31 members. So that is really impressing that we have all the big DIY retailers, which are mostly in Europe present. So from Bauhaus, Obi, Hagebau, Hornbach, they are all in. We have also the big platforms for plant trading in Landgard and Flora Holland. We have 2 producers in our group, that is the Heufs group and the Plusplants group. And so we have also partners from Norway, Switzerland, Austria, and France in our group, beside the German and Netherlands partners. And we are in good talks with additional European partners for our project. The history was what I mentioned at the beginning, that we found the situation with the plastic trash. Then we had a project initiated by the Deutsche Umwelthilfe. So they asked how green is the green branch. And the decision was there are a lot of potential in. The plants are green, but the surrounding is not always green. And so that was the reason why we developed this idea of founding a cooperation, what was done in summer 22. 1 year later, we founded an operative daughter company to do the real daily business, especially the renting of trays to the market, because the Kartellamt in Germany did a check, and they said it must be secured that in such a branch initiative, it is secured that the members of the board and supervisory board are not informed in detail about who orders which quantities and doing which business. So that was the reason why we need 2 companies. Then we developed 4 tray types until now. The 5th is currently in development. And so we expect that we need 8 or 10 trays in total to cover the market. Currently, we have roughly 200 different models. But we focus on multi-trays. One I have with me. So if someone is interested in, you can test it and feel it. In the meantime, we also organize the financing with crowdfunding organizations, so that we collected money to produce the trays and offer them with attractive rental models to the market. And the last step was to establish a pool operator that is supporting us in doing the daily business, handing out, handing in, and exchange of broken ones or something like this. One big step, and that is the reason why I'm today here, is that we focused in the development on RFID. So currently, these are the 4 models. I guess not in detail so interesting for this group, but that is the way to cover roughly the first 70% of the market with only these 4 models. In the development, we came to the point that it could be a good idea to be prepared for the future. And so we looked what are good techniques to do easy tracking, tracing. And so we started with some new Bluetooth technologies, and then came to the conclusion that RFID could be a good solution due to the fact that, how it was mentioned before today, the price decreased a lot, and so that it's also attractive for not so expensive products like our trays. And the relation is really a challenge to put 2 RFID tags on one of these plastic trays, but we decided to do. We had some development with EECC, the European EPC Competence Center in Neuss. It's a spin-off of GS1, so that they supported us in arguing it to our members, and we had also close contact to CC, Containerzentralen, that is also a relevant player of the transporting plants, and the Danish company Lyngso, they also have a lot of experience in using this. Then we developed the technical specifications, had a lot of supplier talks to see what is possible, and then we saw that it's perhaps a bit more challenging to find attractive priced RFID tags which will be able to be installed in mold and printed with in one step, so that we avoid to do labels on and also RFID tags, so the production is a bit easier. We want to have it in mold, that it ensures a long-term usability, because the trays need to work 10 to 20 years. The coding is GS1 conform, so we had on a G-tin to handle it easy in standard systems. We had data matrix code on it optically for handling in logistic processes. We had all these information as well on RFID tags, and we had FUST code that is something for the green branch, so that we are able to organize it in the auctions. The EECC supported us in the process, shows how the development is in the market. They are really good in detail. We did a lot of tests to see how efficient is the process, to do it with a barcode, to do it with RFID, and this helps to argue in an organization with roughly 30 members to argue that we are able to invest in this technology, which increase the price by roughly a quarter. We did in advance to support the decision some tests with statistic readings and also with dynamic tests. We have some challenges in the branch. A lot of plants were usually transported by these metal-based rolling shelves. And additionally, the plants have water in the pots. We have water in the trays. We have water in the sheets. And so that are all challenges in the process, but all our measurements show it could work, and it is a better result than to do it with optical systems, because a RFID tag is readable if the plant is in front of it. If you try to read the optical system, you have lost. And we have two inside, so if you go to a gate, you can check it from both sides, and so you usually tag them. In this process, we checked different readers, we checked different technologies, and came to the conclusion that it's a good idea, and prepared these to decide in our cooperative. Since last year, when the production started, we have roughly 1 million trays in the market now, with the DIY change, Hornbach, Bauhaus, Globus, Bella Flora, and Obi. They use it, and they are in general happy with the handling, because they are very stable. We have less damages on the plants. We have a good positive feedback from the customers. They see the sustainable commitment of the partners. We have good results in reusing, so no problem with soiling and such topics. We see currently some challenges in the self-checked out. The customers do not see that it's necessary to scan also the tray, because until if they take it with them, because the one-way trays were for free. But it's a deposit agreed across Europe, the same, so that in all countries, in all shops, we have always the same amount, so that there is no problem in handling this. What is currently a challenge, and the RFID will help us, our branch is not familiar with RFID using, so they confront me or us with the topic that it's difficult to count a lot of trays, and that they do often mistakes in counting and need to do it again and again. And then we can show them it's easy if you have a handheld or process. And now I guess we will enter also RFID to our green branch, where currently RFID is not in use in general. What I mentioned since last year, we had a pool operator in process. He will use RFID, so we are in preparation that we process with him the RFID processes. The producer of the trays track also the numbers, so that we have a history when it's the birth event, and can start and build up a history of data. And with this pool operator, we will build up a European-wide network, so that all these things work in a proper way, and that we have availability of our trays in the whole branch through Europe. They also offer some additional services like cleaning or transporting when partners can't do it themselves. In general, we have had also a good result from the market. So we won some prizes, and we have these 4 models in use. We have an additional 3 models in development, so that we are on a good way to cover the need of the market, and so that our branch is able to fulfill the PPWR needs. We have 4 seasons time. Sounds long, but in reality, if you have to produce at the end 100 million trays, in this technology, it needs a bit time. And so, we are looking forward that it works, and that we can solve the challenges of the PPWR in our branch with this system. And due to our high number of members and big demand from their side, we can produce them in high quantity, and so secure attractive prices, so that usually if you use them 4 times a year, it is cheaper than using one-way plastic, and that is for a reusable system a really attractive starting position, and should enable us to bring it to fly for whole Europe. We are optimistic to save in the future 40,000 tons of plastic in Europe with avoiding one-way plastic trays, and that is roughly 220,000 tons of CO2. So I guess a good step direction sustainability in Europe. Any questions regarding this? If you want to check the RFID label later on, feel free. In general, I guess a good product and an attractive way to solve problems of a branch, to bring people together and to decide to do it together, helps to secure that there are no barriers, because that was the harming factor in the past. There were a few small systems of reusable systems, but they never find the way to the market, because always the different retailers say, okay, that is not my partner, so I can't use the system. And in our case, we are open for all of the branch, and so that is a way to cover such a branch challenge in a pan-European industry. Thanks.